So tell us a little bit about you and what you do and how it connects fashion and celebrities.
So hi everyone, I'm Juanita Gutierrez. I'm original from Colombia, as you have said, I can hear. English is my second language, so perhaps if you don't understand, feel free to ask. I have a very strong accent, so keep in mind that I might not say the correct words, but here I am. So I have been working in marketing for more than 15 years. For the past 10 years, I have been working at Tiffany. I started in media, doing media and PR, and then I was moved to full PR role. So I'm in charge of branding events, influencers or celebrities, and then branding events in editorial coverage for the region. So we have, I'm in charge of the whole Latin American region. So we have a lot of stores across Latin America, then the Caribbean, and now happily I was added to be responsible for Miami. So yeah.
Congratulations. So tell us, when you are looking to promote your products, especially Tiffany's being such an exclusive brand, you have to find someone that's the right fit. Is it possible nowadays to sell product without collaborating with celebrities?
So it depends on the brand. I would say that you have to understand your brand needs and then understand who you want to partner with. So not for every specific strategy you will need them, and not for every brand. Especially in luxury, you have to be careful with the person you partner with because you have to respect the heritage, and you are the person who is keeping the heritage of a family or like someone who create a beautiful luxury brand. So you have to be responsible of what you are doing. For me, influencers, and I was telling Alina how interesting it has been because at the beginning, and I would say this has been for the last 5 years, no more than that, when I started working with influencers or celebrities, well, back in the days it was only influencers, and then I started working and I didn't understand, to be honest, why I was at it. I preferred to the media girl, like behind the scenes. I'm like, I don't like this PR thing. And then I didn't believe in influencers, to be honest. I thought it was not gonna be a channel that was gonna stay live. And then after a few years, I was like, time proved me that I was wrong. I feel that influencers or celebrities who create a brand are a very respectful branding, like marketing tool right now. And if you know how to do and to create and to promote your brand, you are gonna be successful. So definitely I feel it's part now it's part of most of the company strategies, the marketing strategies. Influencer strategy, marketing, it's a very important component of the 360 strategy that you need to create. But you have to understand how to use this channel because you need to analyze first if I am going to partner with any type of influencer, micro, macro, or celebrities. You need to first analyze them. You need to understand their metrics, and you need to understand the type of content that they create. And you need to understand your business needs. So if you need to create brand awareness, then you can go with bigger celebrities or influencers because that will give you the reach that you need. But perhaps what you need is to engage with something with the consumers. So that is better sometimes with a micro influencer. Or if you need to convert, that goes deeply to the funnel with lower number of followers influencers. So you have to understand your strategy, you have to understand the business needs, and then you start understanding who you want to partner with.
Yes, you were explaining to me how when you want to convert, you go with, I think you said regional ambassadors or something along those lines. So can you explain a little more on what are the differences in those labels? Like, how would someone that maybe wants to start out in this industry on the influencer side, they want to grow, how would they market themselves maybe to someone like you to consider them either a regional ambassador, a micro influencer, or a macro influencer? Like, what do they need to show you? What do they need to prove to you? And what are you looking for?
So at the beginning of the year, what we do is to start working on the strategy for each of the regions. So for us, and I think that it's not only for us, but I would say for every brand, it's important to understand that every market is different. So if you manage, like me, a region, you have to go deeply into each market. So not all the strategies work for all the markets. Like, if you go to Colombia, it's really different to, I don't know, like Chile. If you go to Brazil, it's different to Mexico. So even the products, even the type of content that you create, they are totally different. Yes, we provide guidelines, but overall, you have to be very specific on the strategy for each market. So then you go to the talent that you want to partner with. So you go to each market and understand who are the ones that you want to partner with. And then when you go to a more regional strategy, those are the big ones that you know that are present across the region. But it's a completely different strategy. With them, you know you want to go like across Latin America.
Okay.
And that's when they usually are very big because they become or big celebrities in terms of they are like singers or they are actresses or they could be in that way.
At what number of followers would you consider someone a regional ambassador? And at what number of followers would you consider them a micro-influencer?
I think it's tricky to say because if you go to Brazil, Brazil has the biggest penetration in social media, and then you find influencers who are not regional with more followers than a regional ambassador.
Okay.
So it's tricky just to consider one person based on only the number of followers. I work with influencers in Brazil who are very Brazilians, and then they have more than 50 million followers. But then you go with a regional ambassador that has less than that. So I wouldn't only go with the number of followers, but of course, when you talk about millions, yes, you know that it's a bigger celebrity that has a lot of potential to be covered across the region. And there are tools that give you the information on how this talent or influencer is performing, and you understand their demographics. So you can see if that person will help you more for Miami or more for Mexico or more for Brazil. But still, that information, you have to understand that it's not 100% accurate because yes, Brazil and Mexico are big countries with a lot of followers, people in Instagram. So that doesn't mean that 100% of their followers are the quality or the type of profile you want to reach out.
And these numbers, are they self-reported to you by the influencer, or is this something that you look into independently when you're analyzing the influencer's reach and their metrics to decide what type of offer you want to make to them?
So it goes in both ways. I have tools, internal tools, to double check the information that the influencer or the talent is providing. So there are tools that gives you as a brand the way to measure engagement, reach, number of followers, demographics. That information comes from the talent and from the tool that I have. So I double check that everything is accurate, or even I ask them and I say, hey, it's like my internal information doesn't match with your, and then they have reasons, they can explain you.
Okay. At what level would you say that these influencers or celebrities can start to command payment as opposed to doing it in exchange for product or for you to put their name out there for them to grow a following? How do you determine that?
I think that all of them comes first with payment. They all request to be paid. And I understand, it's their job. It's just that I would say that every brand has a different way of approaching the influencers. What I have seen across the industry is the luxury brands prefer not to do cash payments more than retail credit rather than consumer products, like massive brands, tend to pay more for in cash.
Okay.
So that's what I have seen, but I don't have the exact answer because I don't know exactly.
Yeah. And when you're partnering with your influencer celebrities, how much control do you get to retain over the post that this person is going to put out there?
That's something important. When you start working with influencers, you have to trust, because at the end, you cannot. You want to be as organic as possible in the type of content that they create. Otherwise, it will not look natural for their followers. So my recommendation is try to know your talent, your influencers as much as you can, and try to understand that they need to provide you. You have to provide guidelines, of course. You have to tell them, for example, some hashtags, some do's and don'ts, because at the end it's your brand. But at the end, you cannot say you have to do this X, Y, or Z, because at the end, their followers will not trust the content that this influencer is creating, and at the end, that will be not beneficial for your brand. So I think it's really important to get one of the things that I was sharing with Alina, that it's really nice, at least from my region and from my experience, managing Latin talent has been very nice, because there are like very nice, down-to-earth people. Like, yes, it could be like they could be very, very famous. I'm telling you, I have managed and I have partnered with big, big celebrities. And even for those who are Latins, they're very nice, and they understand that you are partnering with them. They have their demands depending on the type of talent, of course. But overall, when you start working with them, you travel with them, you go to events with them, you go to trips with them, so you get to know them. And when you get to know them and you get personally, like you understand if they are married, if they have kids, if they have a marriage, if they are married or not. And when you start that relationship with them, it changes completely the relationship. And yes, there are contractual posts that they need to do, but overall, they become friends of the house. So that's what you want to create for any other brand. And that's, I think it's really important. It's really important to make sure that you trust them and they trust you, because at the end, you want to help them and they will help you, for sure.
You've mentioned that with this approach, right, sometimes they give you even more than you ask for.
And I feel it's because they truly like the brand and they truly like you. Like sometimes you just need favors. Like I had a situation last week because one director told me that, hey, I need your support because we need to push this. And it was like out of the blue. I was not planning. I don't have the budget for this. And then you just have to be creative and start like talking with people who likes you and then ask kind of favors. And I'm like, listen, I have this situation. Would you be open to support me? And that's it. That, some of them will say yes, some of them will say no, the contract is not like, I don't have it on contract. So you will find everything, but I think that when you show them that you're working for them and this is a partnership, and then they become part of it's natural for them to like a specific brand. I'm not just talking about the brand that I work with, but I think overall that will naturally happen. It's like if you start liking one brand, you naturally recommend it. You will talk great about the brand, even though you are not being paid for that. I think that's the nature of any human being.
Very cool. And how do you handle when perhaps there might be a conflict between what your brand stands for and what other brands that they might want to work with stand for? Like, how do you navigate situations like that so that your product continues to look exclusive the way you want to look, you want it to look in this person's content, and this person also wanting to include other items in their content that might not mesh well with what you're trying to do?
It happens. and I recently had this situation in Wet Market, and I just talked to the person. I talked with the influencer, and hey, listen, o sea, the content that you are lately you are creating. Sí, el colombiano se me salió. Lately, the content that you are creating is giving me a lot of trouble, and you are like, I'm very upfront, I'm very honest, and I'm very transparent. And what I said, like, listen, this is not working. If you continue posting these type of things, I trust you and I like you, but there are rules. And that's part of if you want to work with a brand like Tiffany, yes, you have to commit to not do certain type of things. So, and I would say that happens with any other brand. So you should be honest with the person. You should just tell them that it's not working, and please put down the content that they upload, because that is not appropriate.
I think this has been very informative. Thank you for being here, for taking your time to talk to us about your experiences.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.